We've all been waiting for Cyberpunk for a while, but what if you wanted to play it while not really playing it at the same time? That's the thought that my highly damaged brain thought of while showering today. And just like everything else in life, I decided to charge headfirst into it. Hence, the brain damage. Anyways, rules. I got them. Let's go over them. Number 1, no attacking means no guns, no melee, no sneaking, and no grenades. Number 2, cars are allowed. And by allowed, I mean I'm gonna run people over. And finally, number 3, hacking is also allowed. Now, some people may have a problem with this rule because technically I'm attacking. I'll leave. I know that going from awful pun to asking you to subscribe is a horrible idea, but a lot of work has gone into this video. So if you enjoy, subscribe, hit the bell, and whatnot. So the game begins and I chose the corporate start because, well, think about it logically. If I play like a businessman, then I won't have to attack. Okay, I wanted to see the shiny lights. Onto the character creator, and I decided to go as camouflage-like as possible, which now that I think about, doesn't make much sense because I live in the city. I then got to see the monstrosity that I'd actually created and quickly regretted everything. But we got our first task, to take out this lady, and it may be obvious that I didn't think this out, like, at all. I'm essentially a hitman that can't hit. Hell, my dad would be better suited for my job. Trust me, that's a guy who can hit. Anyways, this then happened. Needless to say, I crapped myself, and that basically sums up my response to all human interaction, both in-game and in real life.
You want nice, supportive? Call a damn helpline.
No, they don't answer my calls anymore. Don't ask. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh right, story. This game is surprisingly realistic. I lost my job over something that wasn't my fault, and now I live on the street. Man, the Cyberpunk devs really poured a lot of themselves into this game, huh? Then the game really began. We're greeted with our first enemies, and believe it or not, I spent 30 minutes just lost. Our partner does no damage, and we have to kill these enemies. I legitimately thought about scrapping this entire video, but then Mr. Cyberpunk himself showed me the way. Hacking is so much better than I could have ever expected. I had no idea that it could even do damage, so I was very pleased. Things were looking great, but I may or may not have randomly spent my skills like an idiot. So yeah, I had to reset the game in order to pick out proper skills. But don't worry, I redid basically everything the same, puked at my own existence, and got fired. We're back where we started. So even with this newfound power, I hit a snag. Hacking requires RAM, and it only refills once you're out of combat. So my first attempt ended with a bullet where my brain should be. If I had one in the first place, that is. But luckily, this balcony here is far enough from the combat for my RAM to regen. So with this little snafu out of the way, this was all a matter of peeking out this massive hole, which the enemies couldn't see me through for some reason, and picking them off one by one. A little note that I'd like to make is that halfway through the fight, I got an upgrade, so RAM regeneration is no longer a problem. For now. I then did some jacking with this lady. Yes, it's called jacking, and that nightmare was finally over. Or so I thought. We then ran into this van, and I had to change my pants for the 5th time today. But luckily, it was all just a set piece. V then showed me that he sleeps like a complete monster. I mean, pillows exist for a reason, but back on track. These cops got suspicious of me for just existing. Come on, I'm not black. So I then got a quick little open heart surgery and witnessed Jesus in car form. Speaking of Jesus, meet Dexter, also known as Black Jesus. He told us to find some special chip, and our first stop was one of his clients. Man, why'd you do that? What are you doing? No, stop. It was funny at first, but now I'm just concerned. Are you okay? Yeah, it may be obvious, but I got sidetracked and had to walk all the way there. We then talked to our client, got walked through like I was nothing, which kinda hurt, and got confused. Like really confused.
You look like a cut of fuckable meat, are you?
What? Excuse me? Okay. I'll see you later. So after being put inside a woman, I had to actually use my brain. Wow, 2 firsts in one day? I'm really going places. So we then found out where the chip is. It's in a hotel, but now we need to find a bot to actually help us. And this is where it gets interesting.
Nah, you talk to me.
Name's Dum Dum.
Dum Dum, nice name, idiot. Yeah, I'd prefer if I could actually talk to your boss. Dum Dum, you said you wanted to talk? Yeah, I gave these guys some money and thankfully I avoided a shootout for about 10 seconds, and then another one started, and this one was massive. Well, because I paid these guys, they actually did some fighting for me, and they actually do damage. Everything was dandy until I ran into these droids, and I don't have enough RAM to hack them. Yep, I thought I was screwed, but thankfully our friends here can kill these things. My job was to just make sure that the fight had adequate lighting. Yeah, that's not a joke, that's the only thing I could do.
Believe that guy.
Yeah, he could have at least said goodbye before popping out of existence. The nerve of some people. Guys, I'm a real person. Just walk around me. So I then ran myself over with my own car, and now that we have the bot, it's time to celebrate. And besides the weird infant tube girls dancing, Jakey showing off his ventriloquist skills, and my PC doing an airplane impression, it was all pretty normal. We then learned the plan. We're sneaking into a hotel peacefully, hopefully, and I got a new identity, Harry. One quick question, do I look like a Harry? Or even a human being for that matter? Anyways, I then decided to do some side quests, and it was mostly half sneaking and half me trying to figure out the menus. Oh yeah, and some expert driving. Ish.
Interesting.
Yeah. Interesting. Are you okay there, buddy? I was ready for a fight, but don't worry if you're not feeling it. So yeah, I upgraded my stuff, or at least tried to. Yeah, everything was too expensive, and I was back into the main story. We then got to this hotel, and this is what we've been waiting for. The chip is inside this building. So after pretending to be someone else and getting turned on by C-3PO over here, I was in the clear. One of those is a first, and I won't tell you which. Let's just say I like British accents. Anyways, we then used our bot called Flathead, which has a lot in common with my high school nickname. Just replace flat with shit and head with face. What were we doing? Oh, right, hotel hacking. I didn't pay much attention, but it was pretty basic stuff. Flathead then did something to this guy's face, and I think it's better if I don't know. I then found a TV channel that only shows ads, and needless to say, I'm a masochist, but I can't go that far. Wow, okay, that's the big bad guy, and that's the big bad guy's son. Oh, yeah, and the fuckable meat robot from earlier. I know this is really tense, but I've got a math class to catch. Can you just chill here for about an hour? So yeah, I had to take a break from my regularly scheduled torture to a different kind of torture, but after that, we were all in the clear. The big bad guy's son then gave his dad a hug, or at least I think they were hugging, I haven't had one before. The dad then died. So yeah, probably not a hug, and I tried to leave my fingerprints on as many things as possible, so we have to escape the scene. I fell to my death like an idiot, then believe it or not, fell to my death again. No? We survived this time, okay. We then got to some more sneaking, okay, I tried sneaking and it didn't really work out. Luckily though, running past worked just fine. Well, not really fine for our friend here, but he can stand to lose a couple gallons of blood. He's basically on his period. That's how that works, right? Anywho, we then got to our getaway car, and I have to be honest, this challenge hasn't been too hard. That all changes right here. See, these two small drones here are fine, it's the big one that's trouble. No matter what I did, it just didn't want to die. I wish I knew what that was like. But no, in all seriousness, I have two hacks. One meant for humans and the other meant for machines. And after some testing, I found that this drone can only be damaged by the hack for humans. Don't ask, the other one just wouldn't work. Now this would all be fine, except this hack takes so much more RAM, to the point where I will always fail. Now this is where the insanity begins, because I spent over an hour on testing what would work. Now I don't want to bore you, so I'll keep it brief. The most important thing is this: Mnemonic in combination with ping. I can essentially make all hacks require 2 less RAM. But even after this, it still wasn't enough, because I haven't mentioned the most frustrating part yet. Sometimes this drone will just ignore hacks, ones that should work. I would have won so many times, but this is so inconsistent. So at this point, the toaster was already waiting for me to cannonball, but remember how there were drone hacks and human hacks? Well, in a desperate pipe dream, I thought, hey, let's try the drone hack again, and then this happened. What the fuck? Yeah, past me. What the fuck? I still have no clue to this day on why it worked all of a sudden, and to that extent, why it insta-killed the drone. Until then, I wasn't sure if this drone was glitched 100%, but that cemented it for me. Somehow, the ping beforehand plus my skills made it just click. This was kinda like throwing your shit at a wall to see if it sticks, but not only does it stick, it sticks to a nearby painting and sells for $15 million. Now I get it, you came here for a challenge, so I'll stop boring you with Jackson Pollock's biography, but that's what it felt like. This for no reason should have worked, it didn't work for an hour before, and I'm gonna go insane over this one drone. Heart still reeling, our friend Jakey died in front of us, and I gotta say, jacking off to my recent victory while crying was a new experience. Okay, it wasn't. Don't give me that look. Anyways, after calming down by meeting with my relatives, we met up with Black Jesus. I told him that I didn't have the chip, even though I did. I then gave a rapey look to myself. I don't know if I should be scared, and then I died. Probably for the best.
What crawled up your ass?
Me. Apparently, so yeah, I'm now in the body of Keanu Reeves, and I woke up from a blackout with a gun in front of me. I almost had my scheduled panic attack for the day, but thankfully, someone else was using the gun. For about 5 seconds, and then they died. Yeah, it may be obvious, but there's nothing I can do here. There are friendlies on the ground, I think, but after 5 minutes of waiting, they didn't kill anything, so yeah. There's not much to say here except add 1 to the attack counter. But guess what? Things only got worse from there. I hopped out of the helicopter and realized that Keanu can't hack, and were forced into a gunfight. I tried killing myself, running past the guards, and even killing myself again, but none of it worked. That second time was just for fun. So yeah, the attacking continued. Do I add another attack to the counter? I don't think it matters, I've already lost. Oh my god, what have I been missing out on? And what was that guy made out of? I get it, cyborg, but white blood? Do cyborgs run off jizz in the future? Dude, you fucking decapitated him! Oh my god! It's only right if I balance it out, but Jesus. So I then got my fake arm shot off, which... why didn't you go for the real one? Anyways, just as I thought I'd escaped the monstrosity that was my character, I went back in. The shtick is that we have 2 brain cells left in the old noggin, and they're both fighting for control. So nothing new to me. We then got to a shootout, and I have my hacking back. Great, it didn't damage the enemies. Not great. Yeah, I was kinda screwed, but thankfully, these enemies are all just set pieces, including the one hood guy. And yeah, you've heard it all before. Life-threatening surgery, terrorist in your head that's slowly consuming your psyche, yada yada yada.
He touched so many people with his love.
Ah, okay, stop the touching with love stuff. You're starting to remind me of my uncle. And now you, touching me while I sleep. Come on, what did I just say about reminding me of my uncle? Anyways, I then woke up in the shower, fought the urge to make another uncle joke, and nearly walked outside before realizing I was naked. 3rd time this week. I then got my car back, and this happened. I know that my consciousness is slowly being overwritten by a terrorist inside my head, and we need to do something soon, but a car just told me to fuck myself. Give me the waypoint now! I then picked out a car that I thought matched me perfectly. It has a lot of character and can take a lot of beatings. What? Oh. You were expecting a penis joke, weren't you? Come on, I'm more mature than that. Body go bouncy bounce. Anyways, the car mission just told me to wait, so that sucks. Well, I guess I'll go save my life now. After meeting up with this guy, the game started to stutter worse than me when I'm in the same zip code as a female, and I spent a couple of hours trying to fix it, so I'm genuinely sorry if it's bothering you. Anywho, after learning that bringing a car to a gunfight isn't really a good idea, we got to a strip club. I may or may not have accidentally ordered a male. Again, I repeat, it was an accident. I did not come here to jack off. Okay, well, I had to jack in first, but we're here for clues. Yeah, the client from earlier ran away.
Blood. Fresh. Not too much.
Ah, yes, invisible blood. Okay, V, we might be seeing things other than the terrorist that pops in and out of existence. Anyways, I finally got to see what a period is like, and yeah, I had to use my appointment. Hey, man, can we just talk? And surprisingly, he listened. Needless to say, that was new. We then asked 3 different people about our client, and they basically all said the same thing. She isn't here, get fucked. One of them meant that last part literally. But eventually we finally got a destination. Keanu then told us the key to escaping death, but he showed a really cool magic trick at the same time, so it was kinda hard to pay attention.
Looking for a Ripper Doc. Goes by Fingers. Know where I can find him?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that, and I have no clue on where we could find him. If only God could give me a sign or something. I then got into a fight, and surprisingly, these two guys helped me, which was super interesting, until I realized that they were practically tickling each other, so yeah, it was up to me. I then got even more surprised as my friends turned on me. Needless to say, I made sure I wasn't the only brain-dead person there. Oh, I only meant to punch you, not take off your clothes as well. That's my bad. Anyways, we then found this guy, and it was nice to meet a fellow non-human looking human. He told us to find our client, we have to go through some porn virtual reality thing. So yeah, the game forced me to buy porn. No arms? No problems. Oh my god. I may have a problem with what you're selling, sir. Well, the box says no limbs while the menu says no arms. So which is it? If I'm gonna spend $150 on it, I wanna know. Yeah, I wasn't forced to buy that disc. Was just curious. So yeah, after a little detective work, we had a rough idea of where our client was, but before doing that, I decided to head to a funeral. On my way there, I may have accidentally caused 15 more, but that doesn't matter. What does matter is that I got a slick motorcycle. Oh yeah, and my friend's dead. Yeah, that matters more. Anyways, getting back onto the main story, we have to go through another warehouse full of goons. Needless to say, I'm thrilled. Okay, bloody handcuffs. Oh fuck, what organ is that? Oh, that's pizza. False alarm. So we found that this place was either a torture chamber or a dentist's office, and in either case, why would you leave pizza? No, that's organs this time. I haven't really talked about hacking and sneaking. Yeah, it's overpowered as hell. See, hacking doesn't give enemies your location, so you can just sit behind cover and hack until everyone's brains could be served as mashed potatoes. So yeah, this warehouse, not too bad. I then walked in on these guys. Yeah, they're hostile, but they're so absorbed in their silly little headsets that they didn't see me. I mean, what kind of idiot would pay so little attention to what was around them that they wouldn't notice a person standing right behind them? We then met up with Evelyn, our client, and wow, V wasn't lying when he said she was a knockout.
No time to lose, V. Gotta get her out of here.
You move! You're blocking the way up. Wrong direction. Never mind. You're doing great, sweetie. So we then got into our friend's head here and found out that she was actually hired by someone else. And we have to go to a gang? It may be obvious, but stretching 3 different main quests over 5 chromosomes makes everything a little bit confusing. I then had to sit through Blue Man Group Does Suicide and met up with the gang who was gonna give me some more information. For some reason, they wanted to meet at, no joke, a funeral that was also a rave party, and while that does seem efficient, I just hope their family isn't epileptic, because then we'd have more funerals to plan. Anyways, I then got briefed up on the plan. In order to talk to this gang's boss, I need to sneak into a mall for them. I then got another voice into my head. Great, add it to the pile, and just as I started sneaking, I accidentally threw a grenade. Luckily, the people 50 meters away didn't notice it. Guys, I think my job is already done. These guys seem to be pretty brain dead already. So sneaking through this place was tedious, but pretty easy. What wasn't easy was what came next. I had to fight my first Netrunner, and they're essentially a boss fight. This thing attacks hard and is sometimes even faster than me, but the little shtick here that made this fight almost impossible was this timer up top. See, I basically do no damage, only 4% per hack. That should be fine though, I can run around. But this timer constantly cucks me before I can seal the deal. So the solution is simple, right? Just run around and avoid the attack. And thankfully, my year's experience of being chased by hairy men is finally gonna pay off. Well, not exactly. Yep, I'm just as confused as you are. For some reason, the enemy teleported to me and started the hack, basically dooming me. Okay, so another workaround. They shouldn't be able to hit me from up here. Is that a gun? So yeah, I tried cheesing this out in a bunch of different ways, but none of them really worked. I started to get a little desperate, and it was the drone all over again. I started to mix and match perks, seeing what would do best, but still, nothing, and again, I had hit the bottom of the bleach barrel. While scraping around for ideas, I thought, hey, you know the two things on the side of your head? You know, ears? How about I use them for once? More specifically, this quote caught my attention.
She must have a weak spot.
What? Yeah, until now I didn't know weaknesses were a thing, and looking at this character's, its weakness is fire and its resistance is electricity. And guess what? I had been using solely electric hacks. Now I seriously had to take a break and consider what I was most angry at. Number 1, me for choosing this stupid challenge in the first place. Number 2, me for not using what's left of my brain. Or number 3, my mom for dropping me as a child, eventually leading to the other two. But no, this is not a time to point fingers. That's for later tonight when I test how many fingers I can fit in my eye socket. No, this is a time for planning. Do I have any hacks that use fire? No, that's fine. I just need to restart the mission and buy some, and while buying, I strategically thought about what skills would also help. I then redid this section even more enthusiastic this time because I knew I could kick some ass, and oh boy, could I kick ass. This fire was insta-killing enemies left, right, and center. I then proudly flopped my hack onto the table in front of the boss, and this happened. What the fuck? Yep, it's back to the bleach barrel, both figuratively and literally. Now you might think that this is the end for me, and I thought the same thing as I researched how to tie a noose with headphone cables and broken dreams. But if I ever want to be known for something, it's that I'll bash my head against any challenge until it or me breaks, whatever comes first. So I sat back down and got to testing. Now, just before every fight, I noticed something odd. The boss isn't carrying a weapon, so where does it get its hammer from? Well, it actually picks it up off the floor as soon as it sees you, so if you carefully sneak by and pick it up before the fight, you can get a huge advantage. Now to tackle the regeneration, and luckily I made a great discovery. The first hack has to be short circuit. I don't know why, but whatever. So after using short circuit first, this enemy will no longer regenerate from fire attacks. Great, this will also let me circumnavigate doing 4% per hack, as fire hacks do 11%. So even as the timer started, I finally did enough damage to finish it off. Now with all this build up, you might have expected a bigger payoff, like the enemy takes off all their armor and it's actually our friend who died early. No, it's just a regular enemy. Okay, wow, I know there is a lot more to cover, the other Netrunners, playing as Johnny, and even the final boss, but my frail masochist body can only take so much in one go. So if you're interested or liked the video, subscribe, hit that bell, and my next video should be coming out next week. Being serious, the channel has literally blown up recently, so I would just like to say thank you. I know a lot of you are here for Spider-Man content, and don't worry, I'm working on it. And anyways, I think that's it. I'll see you next week.